Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys joining me on my day job. It has been now about 4 months, I guess, that I've had my Inventables, and I absolutely, positively love it. The funny thing is, the original reason I bought it, I have yet to do any of it. I originally bought it so that way I could make it easier for cutting out cabinets and making furniture from them. I have yet to cut out a single cabinet. I was actually blessed enough that the CEO of Inventables actually did a Zoom call with me to show me some of the capabilities of actually doing it. And I'm going to start doing some cabinet work. In fact, I've got to get some more plywood. So this is my honest review of the machine that I have. I love it. I love it because it's actually changed what I do as far as woodworking. I'm old school. It's actually easier for me to cut out and build a cabinet because that's the way I've always done it, between my table saw, my radial arm saw, the dado head. It's just, I've been doing that for so long. I haven't grasped using it for that just yet, even though that's the reason I bought it. When I first got it, I started just doing some prints and things. I do YouTube, and I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I just started doing like prints of people and things. Which led to people wanting to get those prints. And so we've been making so many different ones, and then people would send pictures, and some of them were hit or miss. Then I decided to try V-Carve to do some different things. And again, it's one of those things too that's kind of hit or miss depending on the picture. For example, like I said, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you know exactly what look at that. That was cut here on this machine, and it's actually amazing because if you look close, look at this. The detail is it's just cutting a line, and it's going deeper or thinner to make the highlights on there. Is that insane? It's insane to me to see something like that. Or for you Eagle fans, here you go. Yeah, hurts so good. So I've been doing more stuff like that, or even it's a little dusty, but look at that. It's a butcher block cut out here on that, dug out, of course, the star, and epoxy resined it. So I've actually been able to make so many different things with this, signs and letters. Like, let me give you an example here. This is antique heart pine from a house that I renovated from 1908. It was actually a Pentecostal church, and these were the roof rafters that were damaged that we had to replace, but I saved the wood. So the capabilities of this are freaking insane. And once I start actually building cabinets with this, it will take me to another level. It's just been here's the thing. Here's the thing. When we see something, it's kind of like your cell phone right now. This cell phone can probably do a million different things than I know how to use it for. Once you learn it, the capabilities are endless. But learning it is the more difficult part of it. And having somebody who can teach you how to use it, or learning different tricks. For example, a couple of things that I've done to make my Inventables work better. For me, I like to be able to sit down. So what I did was I built this little fold-up. It actually folds down. Okay, computer can sit on there. I can be right here where the machine's setting it up, getting the points and stuff on there. It's close by. I put another, let's move the camera here, another little shelf here for the emergency stop on here and stuff for it. I built a space under my table. The computer's right here with the switch, so I can turn it on and off. And to maximize the space, it's actually extra storage. So like down here, an old piece of oak from a 130-year-old house or old oak panels and stuff like that, and scrap wood, the computer's protected. It can breathe on both ends, but it's maximizing the space because I have a very small space. This is a 2-car garage, and when you've got a 4x4 Inventables unit here, and you have a table saw table, and this is where my table is incorporated into the Inventable, so I can lay out a whole sheet of plywood on here and put it. But in the shop, I have a thickness sander over there, a full-size wood lathe over here, an edge sander, a 3-horsepower shaper, 2-horsepower bandsaw, a rated arm saw, a drill press, and even down below here, believe it or not, 3-horsepower 15-inch planer. So space is a max, is maximized, and it's a very little bit in here. So for me to put something this big in here, it's got to be able to do a lot of stuff. And so far, I will say I love it. The bad thing is, like I was going with the cell phone, until you learn how to do it, it gets to be hard. It gets to be difficult, or you don't realize the potential, and that's part of learning the machine. The bad thing is when you get it out the box, and if you've never used one before, there is that learning curve. You don't instantly come through and immediately, bam, you've got that. It's learning how to put the picture in, it's understanding the contrast of it, understanding, the measurements of it, making sure it's clamped down correctly. There's a lot of subtleties that you will have to learn. Like, for example, for me, I know I've only scratched the surface on this, but a couple things that I've learned, or little tips that I've learned to make things better, is, for example, just getting these fender washers. The fender washers here, a little bit bigger. Reason being is these are the screws that go on the hold down clamps, okay? And it has a little teeny washer that's on there, and I don't know if you can see, but it kind of digs into these and kind of messes it up. Well, if you get a fender washer and put it on there, it actually holds that better. See that? Okay. So then another issue I have, doing a butcher block that is out of Purple Heart. Okay, this one is a wedding one. I've got actually epoxy it. Finish sanding it. Sorry, it's dusty. The problem with this is you have your big metal clamps that go into the T-slot, and they work great. Just got to make sure that you do not let the machine, that you don't misprogram it and the machine hits those. If they do, you're going to mess up a bit. The problem is with the screws that come with this, you can't hold down a long piece. So hence, I originally looked for the hex key screws. Couldn't find any of those, but I did find some longer ones that are, it's a metric screw, that are longer. So this will enable me to actually be able to use this clamp on thicker wood, because you have tons and tons of holes that are all over the place, but if the piece of wood is too tall, it's useless. So that's another one of those little tips that I've learned with using this. Finally, if you're using this machine like I'm doing, and I've got like, I think 5 or 6 different prints that I'm going to be running here, this machine's going to be running all day. The dust collection on this is great. It comes with an arm that goes on there that swings and moves as the cutter head goes, that you can hook up to your shop vac or your dust collection system. The only drawback for that, for me at least, and I don't understand why, but I've got a 3-horsepower Oneida system. You can probably see it in the corner over there. I'm not getting paid by them. Wish I were. 3-horsepower dust collector. I've had that for probably 17 years, and it's powerful. It's got the 8-inch main line off of there that branches on down to 4 everywhere else. When you use the hose that comes with it, I think it's 1 1/4 inches. The problem with using that hose on a dust collection system is it doesn't get that much velocity. For whatever reason, the smaller that hose is, it's not like a shop vac. Shop vac, the smaller the hose is, the more pressure you get. And I know my brother, who's an HVAC guy, explained it to me. I just don't get it. All I know is you need a bigger hose. So what I did to change that is I have put a Y, a 4-inch Y off of there that reduces to a 2-inch hose, and have it hanging from the ceiling. This way, as the cutter head moves, it just hangs with it. And it's a more direct line. Instead of having a long hose, you want to shorten it as much as possible. And it really sucks a lot better having that bigger hose. And so, typically, the head that comes with it actually has their connection, of course, on there. Good thing was, a regular shop hose actually went right over top of it. So now I have actually got better dust collection. And if you actually run this machine without the dust collection, you will understand how important it is. The problem with using a shop vacuum, although it sucks smaller hoses, which is better with the hose that comes with it, is if you run a shop vac, it is really loud. And running a shop vac like I'm running all day long, it's going to burn out. It's just not made to be running continuously for that long. And the whine from a shop vac literally drives me crazy. So I'm going to actually finish setting up the machine here. I've got a special piece that I want to try out, print, that I'm doing this morning. And I'll come back after it's done so you guys can take a look at it. It's for a friend of mine who is really sick with cancer, and it's a gift that I want to give to him that I think he'll really enjoy. So hold on tight. I'm going to set up the machine, which is actually very easy to set up the machine. It's just a matter of making sure that your piece is clamped down well, that it's not in the way of the cutter head, and that you have a nice flat piece, and make sure that it's there the way it's supposed to be. When you're doing these V-carves like this, if the wood is not flat, it's going to change how the picture is going to go, because it needs to be consistent. And one other thing I do, which is actually good, is there is no waste in my workshop. I use everything. I'm using these 1-bys building some bookcases, and so I use different size pieces for my prints. I use 18 by 11 1/4, or 16 by 11 1/4, or 11 1/4 by 11 1/4 for the different size prints. And so the bookcases I'm building are like 52 inches. So I'll have, about 20 inches or so out of here. So those pieces can become prints. So that's another way that you can kind of maximize the wood that you're using and things, and not have waste. So I'm going to get to work. All right, let's see how we did here. Nice thing is, I'll be setting up for another one the same size. I actually have about 5 different prints that I'll be doing. This one took about an hour, and let's see if you can see it. Again, you because we actually need to take a wire brush to this to get out the loose material, do a light sanding, and then paint it. We'll see how it actually looks. But that is actually my buddy Stuart. So definitely, this machine is truly changed a lot of what I do here in my workshop, and I actually positively love the capabilities and know that I am just scratching the surface of the machine. The next thing for me is actually being able to start building cabinets with this, because then that of course will speed up what we do in general. And I will say that this has been the best investment, well, one of the best investments that I've definitely ever made. And I have yet to actually buy a tool and have any regrets about spending the money that I did on it. I think that this is well worth the money, definitely worth the capabilities of it, and something I truly enjoy using. And if you have some questions or thinking about getting an Inventables or a different unit, let me know, because I'd like to hear your thoughts and I'd give you any answers to anything. Any questions that you may have, I'd love to be able to give you answers to those, and we can kind of learn this all together. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and I will see you on the next go round.